Alright guys, this is it. The Jackery 300. I've had it now for a little over a month. I've been playing with it, just messing with it, doing some experiments. And I was debating between this and a Jackery 500, and I'm very happy that I actually got the Jackery 300. It actually only has 293 watt hours. It says 300, but it's 293, which is relatively close, right? So you have your two AC ports. You have two USB-A ports, one with fast charging. You also have a USB-C, which supports up to 60 watts fast charging. And you have a DC port right here, as well as your input. So you have 6 ports. Then I started using it in my car. When I started using it in my car, this thing will last only me over a week. There's no way I can charge my iPhone, my AirPods, all that stuff just using this thing and deplete it. It's just not possible. I think it supports something like 80 plus charges. Now, the reason I debated between the 300 and the 500 was mainly one reason. I want to have a fridge in my car, which I now have. I bought a Alpacool C20. It's not a big fridge, but when it's on, it does pull 60 watts on max, 30 watts on eco mode. I only run it in eco mode. 60 watts would drain this relatively fast. Here's another big thing. I live in a desert where it's often 100 degrees still, and we're almost in October. The Jackery has been the battery for me. This thing is so light. It is, I don't know, it's less than 5 pounds. Look, I can literally just juggle with it and throw it, right? It's also made out of extreme, nice quality. The build does not feel cheap to me. It feels like I'm gonna have this for another couple years, even if I dropped it off of a rooftop, right? Also, I should add one thing. I'm not sponsored. My videos get 100 views a video. There's no way they'd sponsor me. It's not sponsored. I really debated between Blue Eddy and this, but this thing is running my fridge like an absolute madman. It can run my fridge, just me charging on the way to and from work. It will last all day. I never have to worry about it dying. And it's just plugged into the cigarette lighter. When I plug it into the cigarette lighter, one thing I really loved about the Jackery, and this was the decision for me, it charges at 90 watts from my car charger. So I plug this in here. If I really wanted to, I can get 100. My car supports up to 140 watts charging. It's just a Kia Forte. It's nothing special. And that'll basically charge this by 30% by the time I get to work. So while I'm there, 8-hour shift, but by the time I get out, it uses 5 to 10%, another 30% on the way home. It's lasting me indefinitely. These are summer temperatures. I do have tinted windows that I crack open a bit, but these are extreme 100-degree weather temperatures. It's still holding up with more to spare. I left it in overnight. I went out to my car today. Bam, 60%. I did buy a solar panel, so this thing can run indefinitely. Now, let's talk about form factor. I really wanted a 500. I was like, I could do a lot more with that power, but really, what am I really using? Okay, so here is where you have to make a decision. Now, if you are a fancy person who likes air fryers, you like using induction stovetops, those types of things, maybe you're running I don't know, a gaming computer, you're going to want to get something bigger because it has a 300 watt inverter, right? So it can support up to 500 for a peak, and then it comes back down and it can run up to 300 watts. I have no use for anything that runs more than 300 watts. I never use that. I don't cook with that sort of thing. I like to use gas when I cook. I don't use electricity. So that was not part of the equation. That's why I went with this thing, because it supports pass-through charging. I don't have to worry about that sort of thing, right? The biggest thing I have would be my Steam Deck, which charges, or the fridge actually would be the biggest at 30 watts. The Jackery 500 was $200 more, 200 amps more power, and then it starts getting weird, right? Because this, I can move all around the car. I can take it with me. I can just unplug it when it's not in the fridge. Bam, I could take it with me, bring it inside like right now, mess around with it, just play with it, because I bought it and I just wanted to experience it, right? It's easy. One day, I might find it useful to upgrade. But for now, the Jackery Explorer 300 was the best for my budget right now. I'm going to look on Amazon how much this is right now, and then I'll tell you for how much that I bought it. Okay, right now, I got this for $249 out the gate. It was a no-brainer. The Blue Eddy was a lot more expensive, and I got this with a deal. At the time, the Blue Eddy was a lot more expensive, right? Keep in mind, this is almost 2 months ago when I'm doing research. So I also was worried about the Jackery, right? I'm like, the lifestyles. It does not have LiFePO4 batteries. What that means is this battery will definitely degrade faster. But I had a thought, right? Even if I use this every single day and I discharge it from 100% to 0%, it will still take over a year for the battery to even degrade from 100%. After about 3 years, this thing will be at 80% capacity. Who knows what I'll be doing in 3 years? I'm not worried about LiFePro4 batteries. I might not even be alive in 3 years. You never know. Who knows what could happen? Will I save a bunch of money by using this? Yeah, who knows? I might hate car camping. I might never want to go camping again. The fact is, I probably will. But at the same time, this was the cheaper option, and it was just the most affordable too. I wasn't working with a big budget. I wanted something under 300 bucks that could make my mini fridge run all day, but also charge my AirPods, my vape, my iPhone, and my GoPro. Those are really my only things that I use for video, GoPro and an iPhone. So I don't have big sort of camera accessories and things. I'm not flying drones, not yet. But this thing is perfect. So this would be, in my opinion, the best thing for a budget. Also, I looked up thousands and thousands and thousands of reviews of cheaper brands, right? I looked up brands like Grisel. Okay, that was one. How Easy. There was a bunch of them. There's like a bunch of like the Chinese generators. And one thing, Vitoman, Balder, all these things, Eco, all this stuff. One thing people said, I debated on this for 3 months, 4 months before I bought something, right? Because like I said, I'm broke. I work at 7-Eleven. I have almost no money. They always said the cheap inverters will go out on those and you're screwed. With Jackery, you get your warranty. And I like to buy things and I like them to last. I need them to be safe. I can't buy something and have it break a day later. The warranty on this thing is incredible, like absolutely insane. So the warranty for this is going to give you a solid 2 years of peace of mind. That's incredible. So you can have this thing for 2 years. And like I said, 2 years from now, that's a really long time. Who knows what you'll be doing. But I know that in this thing breaks, in 2 years, I'll be able to get it back. So that's my review. It's not the most in-depth, detailed review. But this is a real world test and experience. I'm a cheap guy. I don't have a lot of money. I have like maybe $200 of disposable income a month. It took me a long time to save for this. And I can honestly say I'm very, very happy with the Jackery 300. Once again, not sponsored. Didn't use anybody's links. I really didn't even want to make this video until I fully tested it out. But just the build quality, I wish you guys could hold this unit. Like, it's 5 pounds, but it feels good in your hands. Anyway, peace and Buckarees. I'm out of here. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you around.